Hi everybody, this is Mr. Goldman, and I had a wonderful opportunity this past year. I had an opportunity to teach a class of elementary school teachers in my school district. And what I did was I created a PowerPoint, and now I've added some video to the PowerPoint, and I just wanted to give you a feel for my unique approach to teaching art and why students can become advanced and develop skills so quickly. So check it out. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Goldman, and I made this video just for you to give you a sense of what I do and how unique what I teach is. The approach, I would say, is very unique in that it allows students to excel to higher levels of artistic skill and ability than is typical. So here we go, watch this and I'll tell you my story. So I began teaching at the Davison Avenue School in 1987. After my first 2 years, I became really bored. Then I got a great idea riding home on the Long Island Railroad one day. I began teaching all the techniques that I learned when I went to the School of Visual Arts to students beginning in kindergarten. I would break each lesson down into little steps. This is a painting created by a first grader. We spent 4 days practicing sumi painting with diluted ink. Beginning in kindergarten, I taught students the technique of creating background watercolor washes. This is a watercolor painting created by a first grade student. We spent 4 days sketching horses, using geometric shapes to create the horse. It's amazing what high levels of patience first graders have. But boy, did they learn how to do horses well. This is a second grade watercolor. For the kids, I break down each step of a watercolor painting. The background wash painting, a pond is the foreground. We spent 2 classes practicing painting trees with natural sponges to make the leaves and brushes. It's paintings like this that made me think we underestimate what young children can truly do in art. I'm all about developing their skill level and training them in technique. More second grade watercolor. This is an amazing piece. I like the way they did the reflection. This is second grade and they're beginning to really learn how to do technique. And what I do is I break the techniques down into little steps that they memorize as they go. And it just looks awesome. Okay, on to the next slide. Second grade, we're learning how to use salt for effect on the background wash. Second grade, learning the technique of stipple to enhance your painting. Third grade, these are beautiful. Birds were our theme, and they were our focus. That's third grade. Third grade also did collages. This was interesting because we practiced for about a week and a half learning the anatomy of drawing a face. And then we did it with strips of colored paper from different geographic magazines and different type of magazines I had gathered in collage format, and then we coated it with polymer medium. This is a 4th grade drawing where they were learning how to shade, and we used mirrors to draw self-portraits. Pretty amazing for 4th grade. These are techniques I learned at the School of Visual Arts that were typically designed for adults. And I taught very young kids how to do the exact same thing to a very high level. 4th grade again, How often do most people underestimate what children can do, given the step-by-step training? 5th grade, we did practice on painting fur. Drawing animals, we started out with geometric shapes, and of course we used this rubber substance called masket and learned how to do washes. Or I should say they already learned how to do washes in kindergarten, but we began as they got older to perfect the technique more and more. 5th grade, watercolor, still life. It's amazing how we underestimate what young children can do. In fact, having taught high school for 21 years, I can tell you that children have even more of a wonderful level of concentration and focus. What is the difference between teaching high school and elementary school? Not much, except most elementary students have far more patience. I also teach the exact same technique in high school that I taught for years in elementary school. I have taught both elementary and high school how to shade gradients. It's the first thing I teach because it helps build confidence quickly. This one technique builds rendering skills quickly. I call it the magic box, and you can see a video of it on my YouTube channel. If you spent just 2 or 3 hours over the period of 2 weeks practicing the magic box, you would be able to shade amazingly well. I began this step of their training in 2nd grade. We practiced it in every grade through different types of projects until 6th grade. And now I begin it in 9th grade, and they become masters of it by 12th grade. Understand that illustrating can be divided up into 2 sections. The first is drawing. This can be taught easily with the basic shapes applied to any object. The second section is rendering. This is the easiest of the skills to develop in students, so I approach this first. After the geometric shape practice, we practice using black and white photographs of simple objects. This is high school. We did this in 9th grade, and they're just amazing. This is one of the best of the best. Such an amazing level of precision in 9th grade. Now, not all of them did it this well, but the majority of the students did very good work. This is a typical cup created by a 9th grader using the techniques I teach in the magic box. And this. And this. And now we snap back to 6th grade, where we used portraits and I taught how to do a grid. And in one of my YouTubes, I will show you how to do gridding. It's a great way to draw accurately things that are difficult. And this is an example of one of my 9th grade projects. I've been doing the mythology project with 9th graders for years. They basically are designing a mythological creature. I teach them how to do animals using basic shapes. And I will put up a YouTube soon on how to do that. And then they use the shading techniques that I teach doing the magic box. This is surrealism. 6th grade, beautifully done. This is a 9th grade mythology project. This is surrealism in 6th grade. This is a 9th grade mythology project. Both 6th grade surrealism, I think one of those are a repeat, but that's okay. This is 4th grade. I start them out in 4th grade using the shading techniques that we learn with the magic box. We did sculpture galleries. I use the exact same approach in teaching acrylic painting. Students practice their gradients using geometric shapes, basically the magic box, painting dark to light. This is the fundamental principle to gain skill in painting. Once they gain skill in painting, you'll end up seeing things like we see on the left here, where I think that was an 11th grade student who painted the baby. And on the right side, that was one of my advanced placement students. She had become incredibly good at pencil drawing. Why do I start with gradients and shading with grades K through 12? Gradient exercises build confidence faster, more quickly than in any other drawing or painting exercises. All of art, all painting, all drawings throughout history are made up of gradients, of colors and shades. Once you build student confidence, which shading gradients is wonderful for building confidence, but once you build confidence, you can develop skills in creating excellent work. Then it's easy to teach how to draw or how to create good composition. Creativity. I love this picture. I taught digital art for 11 years at the high school level, 9th through 12th grade, mostly using Photoshop. And I will have a digital course coming out sometime early this year. But anyway, I just love the creativity of this piece. We had an assignment I had created called Cat and Mouse, where the cat would chase the mouse, kind of like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons. Lastly, who are we as art teachers? Too much of art is focused on making things. I have always realized that when students walk through my classroom door on the first day, they have an opportunity to walk out on the last day and be different. After my classes, they have developed skills. It's like you and I taught them to ride a bicycle, and they will never forget how to do this. They can now reflect the skills they learned into myriad forms of art reflection from their own inner worlds, and they can paint and draw their passions. We, art teachers, can change lives. We can show them skills and how to develop them, and they can become creators. Amazing creators at any age.